I will not die easily. I am a warrior.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I just wanted to let you know that we started a recording of this interview and we got about 10 minutes in and realized that we were having technical difficulties. So that's why the beginning is a bit awkward and we kind of had to start over. Otherwise, this interview is with Amanda Arrou-Tea. She is this amazing Berlin-based artist and muralist painter. And she has this subject matter of women being suspended in water in this meditative, serene state. And she does these big, amazing murals of this and also smaller paintings. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy the interview and feel free to leave comments below. Thanks for watching. So yeah, just to start from the top, like the tagline of the famous "When I'm Dead" is what it's called, and the tagline is that artists tell their story about what it takes to thrive while they're still alive. So yeah, it's basically just about the journey that we go through as artists and the difficulties that we face and kind of how we overcome them and become professional artists and like grow further on our journey. So maybe you could recap kind of you started when you were 9 taking lessons and then you got into college and start from the
That was
top.
some time ago, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, when I was 9, I was working with my mom, and I saw these drawing and painting lessons. And I just told her, okay, if I'm going to take some English lessons, I also want to make these painting lessons. And I forced her to inscribe me there. And well, since then, I'm here, like almost 21 years later, painting
Wow.
here. Yeah. So yeah, it was like I wanted to do something like, no, mom, I want to do that. And that's how I knew I wanted to be an artist, um, between a lot of other things. And that's the only one that I got consistent with, being, well, an artist, just painting and doing funny stuff.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about you wanted to be an art director because you saw it as a way of combining
Yes.
musical performance and visual performance and stage and design and all of that, but you found out that you weren't any good at that, or that's what you thought anyway.
Yeah, well, that was sad. Yeah, I entered college, university, because I wanted to make films. I wanted to become an art director, a female art director. That was a thing, right? And yeah, combine all these regular things that we all take for granted, but are very, very special and beautiful, and to seek all the beauty things in the smallest, I don't know, ordinary things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a little bit tough when I noticed that that was very hard work and I wasn't that good. So then I made a scholarship, my Erasmus scholarship to France, and I went there to that university because it was one of the best filming universities. But then I decided, okay, no, I wanna paint.
Yeah. Do you
uh,
think that that was like, what did that have to do with the way that you made art as opposed to being an art director? Because it seems to me being an art director involves a lot of people and like being a manager of people, and painting is more internal.
yes, that's very, very right. Um, Well, that's not a very nice phase of me. I can get very bossy.
Mm.
So, yeah, doing that, I did some short films and I had an entire team working with me. And, I'm that kind of person that if I don't know how to explain myself to arrive to this point, I'm just like, okay, leave it, I will do it. And
Oh, okay.
that's not very friendly, and I'm working on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now being an artist, it's well, a painter, it's easier for me because it's only me, and I
Yeah.
can't tell myself, okay, if you can do it, Amanda, just I will do it. But
Yeah, you have to give up a lot of control and you have to allow people as any kind of manager to kind of do things in their own style.
yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you have to trust others, other visions, and it's not only yours, the one that it's valid. Yeah, that's uh,
Yeah.
I learned that,
Hmm.
not in a very good way.
I actually I have a specific question actually if you had any special challenges that came from being a female artist. Because I had some female fans bring that up. One fan said that she felt like she was expected to make really beautiful, like flowery kind of things or feminine kind of artwork, when in reality there were times where she wanted to make sort of more aggressive or like masculine types of artwork. So I'm wondering if you experienced like what kind of issues that you experienced being a female artist.
Yeah, something different because my art is considered quite female. It's women underwater and blah blah blah. It's beautiful mermaids. Yeah, whatever. That's
Hmm.
not what I wanna do. But I was working with a very famous and important artist, and well, I was doing a project, and I know I wasn't chosen to continue with that project because I'm a woman and a married
Mm.
woman in my 30s. So
Oh,
they wanted someone consistent, and they said, okay, she's married now, so in a couple of years she will have babies, so she won't be able to continue doing this 24 hours, and she will have to focus more on babies. And I was like, what?
and they made that assumption without asking you.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, no, that's not me. But that's because being a woman, if a man has a baby, he will. It doesn't matter. He will continue. Well, that's what society says. I'm not saying that all men are like that. Of course not.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what I assume. Like, yeah, you're a woman. You will have these months for being pregnant, and after having the baby, you will need to recover. And when you are already recovered, you won't be that focused on your job because the baby. And that's the troubles I found also in doing murals. Um, Mostly you can see that are men doing murals, right? Because it's a very,
Mm.
very tough work,
Mm.
super physically demanding, and you have to travel, and yeah, it's exhausting. So women, no, you can. I've been told that I won't support your career because at some point you won't be able to continue that because family, because you're weaker or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm here to say sorry for this, but a fuck you to all of them. Like, I'm a woman, I am happily married, and my plans are to continue being a warrior in a mural. Come on.
Nice. Yeah. So, I want to talk a little bit about your experience with some of your education and more of the bureaucratic side of art, and how that kind of like works with, or how that helps you landing mural projects.
Actually, not that much.
Oh, okay.
But well, I know now how to make a project, right? So they regularly they ask you, okay, what if you wanted to make this wall? And then you have to make a project with the cost, the timing, and blah blah blah. So that's the only issue where I think I can apply this. But for me now it's more, I'm a little bit a nerd and I love knowing things. So it's more
Hmm.
my self development. That, yeah, of course, all those years and all those degrees that I did in art marketing, in project development, in history of art, and also museography, it helped me a lot. Not like in my muralist facet, more in my studio artist facet, for example. I
Hmm.
regularly mostly from my paintings that I sell or I make exhibitions. Uh,
Mm.
Unfortunately, I don't have that chance to make so many murals as I wish.
So is that your like with the exhibitions, what percentage or what is the split? Like how much of your time is spent on murals and how much is like painting on canvas and doing exhibitions?
Um, I would say 80-20. I'm trying to change that because
80% mural, 20%
no,
the other way. Ah.
yeah, the other way around. I mostly paint in my studio, in my messy studio that you can see in the background.
Hmm.
So yeah, I wish I could make more murals outside, but
Hmm.
it's difficult in Berlin because it's cold in winter,
Uh-huh.
and we are a lot of artists. So there is a lot of uh, I forgot the word, but
Competition?
yes, a
Yeah.
lot of competition. But well, that's not a problem because we all have different styles.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, mostly our the good paid works are not that easy.
Yeah.
But well, I'm working on it. I have some new projects that are there almost going down to earth. So
Hmm.
I cross fingers that, yeah, I think it will work what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I talk to people about, especially because I'm a little bit further along in my art career, so when I talk to people who are earlier on or need advice about or are interested in starting their life, sometimes people in their 40s or 50s are interested in starting their life as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I always ask them to do is to sit down and write down what they want their life to look like, not how much money they want to make or, like what their ideal day, like working day is. Like, okay, do you want to wake up? Do you want to work outside? Do you want to work inside? Do you want to work on big canvases, small canvases? Like how many hours a day do you want to work? Like just get really specific about like what you want your ideal day to look like, and then you make your decision on like what kind of art you want to do like around that because um, yeah, I think that people have an idea sometimes that like this kind of art means this kind of life, but a lot of times that's not true. So I'm with you on that for sure. Like I'm assuming that you prefer to work outside
Yeah, it's
if you
fun.
like to
I
paint
do.
on murals. And
Yeah.
for me, like when I was designing my ideal life as an artist, like I worked in offices for like 7 years of my early life, and like when I was in my 20s, and at the end of that 7 years, I was like, no way, I can't work inside anymore. I have to do something outside. And now most of my work is outside on the bridge here in Prague, the Charles Bridge. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So you
So
paint to people?
I do caricatures, and
Mm-hmm.
I decided not to get into portraits actually because I found a lot of value in caricature. Like I joined the International Society of Caricature Artists, and I met a lot of people who were kind of like lifetime professional artists that were like mainly working in caricature. And I could see that it's like it was a legitimate art form. And I saw people who were working for like Time Magazine and like I don't know if you know Jason Seiler. He's like a famous illustrator. He's got a podcast as well,
Okay.
and it's called Face the Truth. But anyway, he does portraits, but he does caricatures as well. And yeah, I feel like I'm kind of going on a rant. The only point that I was saying was like I definitely relate to like wanting to be outside.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah.
And a beautiful place.
What about murals? That was one of the questions that I had for you. Is like, what is it about working on murals that you enjoy more than working on a canvas?
I don't know. It's very different. I think the energy you feel doing something huge, and you can allow yourself to get dirty, physically very dirty, and it's very physical the work, and you are you are breathing fresh air. That's very important as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and having the chance. And knowing that someone is trusting you to do such a big thing, that's a little bit of a honor and also responsibility, but I think it's a lot of adrenaline there. I
Mm.
find it like that. For example, for my last mural, I got a very good spot in Teufelsberg that it's an incredible street art place here in Berlin. um wow, I was super scared to start it first because it was huge.
Hmm.
I was
Was it your biggest so far?
sorry.
Was it your largest mural so far?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 120 square meters. It's
Cool.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
It was my first very big mural, and I was doing it on my own, so I was very afraid of doing it. I was scared. Wow. But overcoming that feelings and feeling proud of yourself, like, oh yeah, I could do it. Yeah, this day I managed to do this part, and tomorrow I'm going to do this, and you see how you develop the painting, and it's a strange chemical here in your brain that makes that experience unique, something
Hmm.
that you can't feel in your studio. In your studio,
Yeah.
is like a safe place.
Yeah.
If you get a mistake, okay, doesn't matter, tomorrow I will correct it. But if you are in a wall, it's not that easy to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
You feel more pressure because everyone is seeing that, and you are more like a public figure in that.
Yeah.
But, well, yes, it's much funnier. I think it's adrenaline, I would say, that makes it so special, and you want more. You want much more of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I kind of relate that to your energy or your chi sort of like being stuck in your head as opposed to in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because like you said in the studio, it's more cognitive. Like if you make a mistake, it's like, okay, well, I'll fix that mistake tomorrow at 12. Like you kind of can work it out, and it's like a comfortable, safe place, like you said. But when you're out there in the world, you have to think on your feet, and you have to, like you said, breathe. And there's this like energy that's you need to use your whole body to make that paint stroke as opposed to just your wrist. And yeah, I mean, I can relate to that a lot too, for me, especially like because with caricature, it's like you have new people, every person is new, and
Yeah.
every face is new, and you have 10 minutes to like make this person like a memory that they're going to hang on their wall forever. So it's like you have that there's all this pressure, but it's invigorating, it's like very vital energy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and you received a feedback from other one that you can't feel from your studio.
Yeah, that's another big thing. That's actually, I think, more of a payoff than the money, really. Like, for me, when I reveal, and I would guess probably for you, like when you have like a big reveal party for your mural, like
Yeah,
the applaud and the people's like, like you can see that you've passed that inspiration on to people. That's like more of a payment than any kind of money.
totally, yes. But
Yeah.
there is one thing that a good artist says, that when you receive good critiques and they say, wow, you are the best of the best, say thank you and don't believe it.
Yeah.
And someone that says to just the opposite, like, oh, this is shit, why are you doing this? Say thank you and don't believe it.
Oh, okay. Well, I always say, well, what don't you like about it? Like, let's talk about that. I want to know specifically, like, what they think is not good. But I definitely take that same advice that you just said when someone's like, oh, you're the master, you're the greatest, or whatever. And I say thank you. And then in my mind, I'm like, but I can think of a few other people that are ahead of me, you know? So,
Yeah, true.
um, I wanted to ask about, or I wanted to just say something about murals and see if you see what I'm saying, which is like, I've always wanted to do murals, and I just never took the steps to do that. Um, but for me, before our interview started, I was thinking, why do I want to do murals? Like, where is that motivation coming from? And my first answer was kind of ego. You know, like I want,
Same.
yeah, I want to like put my art as big as possible in the biggest place where the most people could see it. And there's still that drive there, but I think the other part of it is also that I like when art can be shared with anybody, like when it's democratic.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's one of the points of street art, that there is no white cube, that it's elitist. It's for everyone, and everyone can enjoy it. So I think that's the most beautiful thing about the street art, that it's reachable to everyone. And yeah, left alone the ego of artists, it's also, well, I found it for me that, yeah, it was ego when I started doing murals. um this artist Finta Magé.
No.
He's an amazing muralist. He's from Australia, I think, or New Zealand. I was so inspired by him. I wanted to become him. And so yes, for me it was a little bit like ego, like, yeah, everyone know what I do. I'm a woman, and I can do this in the art world that in history has always been for men.
Mm-hmm.
And that was part of my ego, and the other one was proving myself. It was like challenges for me,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I know I have something there that I can paint, but let's see until when I am good, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just challenging and challenging. And yeah, I've noticed, if you're doing just what you know that you do easily and well, that's boring.
Mm-hmm.
So that was mostly for me, being out of the comfort zone. And I guess it's also for everyone. All the artists,
Yeah,
we are like that.
that's
Special.
definitely the road to mastery, which is that once we start to feel comfortable in something, we have to, I mean, personally, when I start to feel comfortable, I try to put certain restrictions on myself or change the way I approach the same thing. For example, like I was doing just pencil graphite caricatures for a couple of years, and then once I got comfortable with that, I switched to marker. So, and I
Hmm.
didn't allow myself. And there were days where I wouldn't bring my eraser. So like if I made a mark that was messed up, I just had to somehow like work with it. So I think that that's the difference between someone who's on the road to mastery and someone who figures out how to get to a certain level that works and makes them money or gets them some kind of accolades, and then they just stay there forever.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and I'm terrified of that. And actually, that's what terrified me about going to this bridge, because I talked to artists that have been working up there for 35 years, and they made so much money drawing decent, passable caricatures for so long that they just spent their whole life doing that, and they never really grew or tried anything different. So,
That's
yeah,
like having a regular job, going to the office, doing whatever you do. Like, yeah, I do this caricature super easily, and voila. That's like, I think that's like a regular office job. The people,
yeah,
artists that do that.
yeah,
So I think we artists, we don't want that. That's the reason we do what we do.
yeah. I wanted to ask you about your subject matter actually, because it's interesting to me anyone who can stick to the same concept for a
Like,
lot of their work.
yeah.
And you have floating women that are like floating in the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that.
Okay. I can tell you the long story if you want, or the
Okay,
short.
that's
Okay.
okay. We have time.
I'm very attached to Mexico, and the third time I traveled there, it was because of my sister's wedding, and we went to the cenotes in Yucatan. Do you know what a cenote is?
No.
It's like a natural swimming pool in a cave. And
Oh.
Mayas used to think that that was the entrance to the infraworld. So there is an amazing, really incredible energy involving those millennial places. So yeah, we were swimming there, and I had this shitty camera for taking some underwater pictures. We were meditating, and I took a picture of one of my friends there. She's from Japan. It's actually it was last time I saw her. And when I developed that picture three months later, because yeah, it was an analog camera, I thought I was immediately transported to that moment.
Hmm.
The serenity of the girl, you could see her just floating, and you could feel that she was meditating, she was in peace, she was feeling very comfortable with herself. And wow, the picture was also very beautiful.
Hmm.
So that's what moved me to paint. That was actually my first mermaid. So then I continued searching that world of underwater and women, because you can see also the body of women, but it's distorted because of the lights and the reflection in the water.
Hmm.
I was obsessed with that. And also you can feel that women feel very comfortable and self-confident with themselves underwater,
Hmm.
or in my paintings at least. That's what I
Hmm.
try. And that also talks a little bit about our society. We live in a phallocentric society, it's for sure.
Phallocentric? Do you mean like a male dominated?
Exactly.
I've never heard that word before, but okay, I get it.
Maybe it's an Spanish word that I translated wrongly to. It's everything around the men, and
Hmm.
we are just a complement. Like, yeah, she's pretty. Yeah, she looks nice, or she doesn't look as she should look. That's my point where I wanna go. So we are women. We are always told how to look. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, you need to be female, you need to be thin, but not very thin, because men don't like that. And you need to be curvy, but not very curvy. And your color needs to be like that. And you need to dress. Okay, I'm making long story short with this, but this is a pressure all women will feel, and it's very difficult to overcome that and say like, yeah, whatever, I don't look like these models, Dior models, that of course that's not even real, that's Photoshop, and that's an idea of female that doesn't exist. So
Hmm.
I want women to be happy with themselves physically and psychologically. But mostly I'm focusing here on the way they look, because this is a very big issue for most of us,
Mm-hmm.
and to feel very confident. And also, we don't like how men look at us. If you are pretty, they look at you because you are pretty, but they look in not a very, very friendly way. Mm,
Mm.
yes, there is always this sexual connotation,
Mm-hmm.
and that's very annoying. That's the reason I also paint my women naked. They feel powerful naked. Come on, it's the body we got from nature, and it allows us to move and to achieve living our life, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
body like a male body, it's just a body. But there is this industry of porn that has tell us that, yeah, if you see some boobies, wow, men are going to go crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
that's super annoying because it's nothing. And then you see nipples from men, and it's like whatever. You see nipples from women, and all men got excited.
Mm-hmm. This
That's
is an interesting, actually, dynamic that happens like in the U.S. as opposed to Europe, where on TV you can see very brutal, gory violence, but then when if someone shows a nipple, there's a big reaction. So, and when you come to Europe, it's kind of the opposite. It's like violence is not, you don't see it as much in media, but you see much more nudity, which is because, the US was settled by Quakers, like these like really crazy fundamentalist Christian group, basically. And those same kind of hang-ups about sex and sexuality have been perpetuated through history, and we still have it today in the U.S. So, um, yeah, there's actually a couple of things that you said that were really interesting that I wanted to talk about. I want to ask you about like the distortion, because you were saying like the ripples kind of distort the way the body looks.
mm-hmm.
Um, but before we talk about distortion, I wanted to mention this experience that I have with you know the male gaze, or this perception, like men's perception of the way things are as opposed to women's. And I've had an interesting kind of awakening to that over the last few years, having more women friends lately, and them opening up to me about experiences that they've had. And as a man, you don't really, because you don't deal with it, you don't really think about it. And like for me, for example, I walk through the city and I feel totally safe. I don't feel like anybody's going to attack me. Nobody really, sometimes people ask me for money or something, but that's about it. But as a woman, it's like a completely different experience. It's like you're walking through the jungle and there's a lot of these like guys creeping out on you. So, um,
Maybe they don't tell you nothing, they don't touch you, they don't want to rape you, but the way they look at you, it's very, very annoying.
mm,
Come on, and we need to wear. I'm going to talk by my experience. I love being without bra. Come on, it's annoying. And then men looking at you, it's so disgusting. Even my husband, when we are together, is like, wow, this is so annoying. Why they never saw some boobies? And it's like, come on, it's really annoying. And
yeah.
all women I know have experienced something like that, regardless their body. It's like, no, yeah, it's just a woman, and it's a body, and I will look at her. I don't care if she feels uncomfortable. No, it's very annoying.
Mm,
In Spain, we have, this macho man, and you can't go to the. Of course, there are exceptions. I'm talking in general, okay?
mm-hmm,
I don't say all men are bad. Of course not. Of course not. But they need to re-educate the way they look at women, or the way they shouldn't look to women.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in the beach, topless, just relaxing, sunbathing, reading a book, and all these men walking and looking at you like, it's really terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you won't get verbally harassed, or they won't touch you, but you can feel that makes you feel very uncomfortable with with your body. So you
Mm-hmm.
want to cover it, and that's not good.
Mm-hmm. That's, I guess, tied into probably the way the body is distorted, right? Like in the paintings.
Mm,
How is it related?
it's not very much related. It's more about mixing the abstract world and the specific world of paint. So you
Mm-hmm.
see the body and the reflection is more abstract. That's something that I find fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
In the same painting, you can paint figurative and abstract, and it makes completely sense.
Ah, I see. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the way I see it is I do see them as meditative. I see them as floating.
Hmm.
And I know through my own experience with meditation, I guess that's kind of how I'm viewing it. Whereas, like, when the body becomes distorted by the water, that's almost that's almost my experience with meditation when I've done long meditation retreats where I kind of lose my body a little bit. And I actually had an experience where my consciousness became like surface waves.
Wow.
And maybe that's why I relate to the work so much because when I do meditation, it's a good visualization of how I feel, even when I'm just sitting, doing like a sitting meditation.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. That's very true, and I really like that you're seeing that in my paintings.
Yeah.
Like, I want to have open. I don't talk too much about the meaning of my art because I really like people to have their own reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great that you feel it like that, and somehow it's also focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool.
A lot of them are looking up. I mean, would you say that a lot of the women are most of them are looking up when they're floating?
You mean in my paintings or in general?
Yeah, in the paintings and the murals.
Yeah, yeah, most of them are looking up, as it depends also on how you feel, because they are holding breath, most of them. And if you are feeling well, you will say, oh, they are just going now to breathe, or any interpretation, positive interpretation. But if you are in a bad situation and you see one of my paintings, you can see them as something very agonic. Wow, they can't breathe. It's very difficult to reach the surface. So they are looking up in a very, I don't know, anxious way. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something I also like to leave open.
Hmm.
I have my own meanings for every painting, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, because it would change the dynamic if they were looking down, you know. It's like there's something significant about the fact that they're looking up toward the light as opposed to down into the depths.
Uh-huh, exactly. And well, as you can see, you mostly can see the faces of them, because I want the viewer to be more related to them. If you see a face, it's already something personal to that person. So
Mm.
you don't see them, or you don't know who is she or him. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, no, if you don't see the face, just a body, because we all have bodies. And okay, we do have faces, but those are more personal
Mm-hmm.
or more specific. So that's also the reason I like to make them anonymous. So every being can relate to them.
Hmm. Yeah, the other thing too about them is that none of them are in action. All of them are kind of surrendered to the water.
Yes, yes, that's true. It's trying to be in peace with nature,
Hmm.
because there is nothing more natural than the ocean, right? And that's I was going to talk about another topic that in another moment. But yeah, nature and the ocean, it's something huge that humans we don't have the power on it. We just need to surrender and be calm there. If not, we're going to die there.
So what was the topic? Is it about nature or that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, somehow. Yeah, it's more about killing the oceans
Mm.
because all the trash goes to the oceans.
Hmm.
And I had some years that I was painting my women underwater with corals, but you could see that these corals were dead because we are killing all these coral reefs and all underwater life.
Hmm.
And that's because of humans. If we weren't there, they would be colorful, amazing, full of life.
Yeah.
That's yeah, we are a virus at the end. And if we want to live in this natural world that we were given, that it's amazing, we should go, low profile, not contaminating everything and littering. Hi.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest problem, the biggest kind of um, stopping power to human progress, our human evolution, is people's personal interests. Because we've come up with technology. I mean, we even had a really good engine, car engine that ran on water in the 60s. And basically, the big oil companies bought the patent and
Really? I
just,
didn't know
just
that.
yeah, yeah. And Nikolai Tesla, you probably have heard of him.
Of course.
So when upon his death, all of his patents were stolen out of the safe from his hotel room, and his inventions would have completely I mean, a lot of them did totally revolutionize the world, but he knew about Bluetooth technology and wireless, all kinds of wireless technologies, way 100 years ago.
Wow.
So the problem is that the people who have a vested interest in the wealth and the power of oil, for example, they usually, if something is going to threaten that, they have ways of smashing that and getting rid of that. And I think that if that wasn't there, then we'd be far ahead of where we are right now, way far.
Yeah, true.
It's not the whole of people that are a virus. I think it's a very specific group.
Yeah, but this little group, this specific group, is the one that rules the world. That's a
Right,
problem.
right.
That's a problem. Yeah, there should be millions of amazing people that feel that yeah, we should live here in harmony, yeah, with nature. I mean,
Yeah,
but yeah, we don't have much power
yeah,
for that. We can demonstrate, we can make um, anything that it's in our hands, but it will never be enough. That's the problem.
well, I think that's, I don't want to get too far off topic, but I do want to respond to that because I feel like I have an uncle who's very into trying to figure out what's happening behind the scenes, so he's into different conspiracies and always sending me these videos and basically what I was telling him is that, okay, well, maybe there is some truth to some of this, but it's surrounded by theories and presumptions that we don't have any evidence for. And even if it was all true, what are you going to do to change that? Like we have like a very small circle of influence, and we have this point of power, which is this moment right now, and with the skills that we have right now and the connections that we have right now, there is something we can do, but it's not going to be able, like, you're not going to be able to topple all the world's billionaires by like sending people videos of conspiracies. Like, what you can do is maybe like work on enlightening yourself and maybe helping enlighten people around you in some way, or, you know, in our case, like for me, and in my case, it's to try to help inspire people and teach people to express themselves through art, and to share artists' stories with people to show them that it is possible to follow that thing inside that is burning. So there's powers that we do have, but
Yeah, of course. But they can't, unfortunately, change the world as we know it. Yeah, we can change a little bit our environment by doing better things for others, for Mother Nature. Of course, we can change our little environment, but if we are talking globally, that's not easy. We can, I think humans, we have the power of, as you said, changing our environment. But if all humans started changing our environment and these people in power, they don't care, nothing would change.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that's maybe my pessimistic point of view, but that, I think that's another story.
Yeah. Well, eventually hopefully the people who are younger and like more, I think we need to elect younger people worldwide. I think the people that are in office now are just too old.
Yeah, you're right. You're very, very right.
I mean, because if you think of someone who's in their 70s,
Yeah,
that's a completely different world that they grew up in.
exactly. Yes.
So, and with technology and social media and the way the speed at which things are moving, like it's even further, you know, it's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I wanted to ask about just the nuts and bolts of the mural industry, or kind of like how you got started in that and what your experience was with that.
About what? Sorry, I didn't understand.
No, well, it's nuts and bolts. It's like how it works, like the gears of how you got started into the mural industry.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry, my English. It's okay. Not
No,
not
it's good.
fun. So, well, you may know that I moved to Mexico, and Mexico is the land of muralism, right?
Really? Okay.
In a very different way that we know muralism, because that was 1 century, 2 centuries ago. It was very political. It's still political. The street art, I think, the muralism that we see every day, because I think it has that power, not that responsibility, but it has that power. So yeah, I moved to Mexico, and there were a lot of white walls. So I started asking, and then I got to know this mural festival in Playa del Carmen called Pangea Sea Walls, and I got obsessed. So I started making my little murals, commissions. I started getting paid for that. Um, so yes, I said, okay, this is what I want to do, because it's funny again. I moved to Mexico to study another master's in art marketing and project development. And then I started working in an art gallery as the art director there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I found these mural festivals. I was around 23, 24 years old. So I think I did my first mural with 24 in Playa del Carmen. It was amazing. And I thought I was closer to these famous, amazing, incredible artists that were painting huge walls. My wall wasn't that small, but wasn't that amazing as them.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted that. So I continuously was painting, and then moved here to Berlin and tried here, knocking all doors. My first mural here in Berlin was in a place called Jam Berlin. It's a concert place where you have huge walls.
I think
And
I've been there.
oh, okay.
It's
So
by the river.
yes, exactly. And they also have the little artificial beach in summer. It's very cool, and all this reggae culture. It's super cool.
I did want to ask you like what kind of paint that you used, but I noticed in the background you have a painting of a guy in the water.
This one, yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Is that your husband?
Yes.
It is?
I never paint men. Just I did a couple of them under commission, but yeah, I wanted to give a try, and of course him. But that's I still need to work on. Come on, that's the first step of it. I need to
Okay.
work on it.
I have a question actually that I don't know if we covered this already, but I was interested in the fact that you're able to like stick to a very kind of narrow or specific subject matter. And I just wonder if I bring this up because for me, throughout my career as an artist, like I've done sculpture and I've always been interested in faces and portraiture and stuff, but um, I've just moved around a lot. I've tried animation and I've made this puppet back here and other puppets, and like I've always done all of these different things, and I've never really been able to like just stick to this one thing. And it seems like all of your work is like women underwater facing up.
Not actually. That's what I show. That's my project. That's what I'm obsessed with.
Mm,
But of course, I do other things that I don't show much because I don't feel that confident.
mhm.
And I also have some commissions that are not my thing, but are not my women underwater. But anyway, I do them, and as they are not my women, I don't share in social media or in
Mm,
my webpage. But
okay.
yeah, so I think it's better if you're an artist, you shouldn't stick to something. That would be the easy thing, in
Hmm.
my opinion. As we said, the comfort zone before, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to try all the time new things, new techniques, new. Um, mm, oh, sorry, my English suddenly doesn't want to work. Yeah,
I
you need to
understand.
try new ideas all the time.
Yeah, yeah, I understand what you mean.
Okay.
Um, what what kind of paint do you use? Are you using spray paint and acrylic or?
For the walls,
Hmm.
I started using only acrylic. It's always acrylic for wall. And this, for the last one, I also tried with the spray can.
Oh,
Yes,
but
it
it
was my first one with a spray can. Wow, that was challenging.
so it was all acrylic based paint.
Regularly, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, that is the one thing I wanted to say about your style that I noticed. It's it's refreshing to know that you're building a career with what you want to do. It's like when people are hiring you for murals, are you getting a lot of people that want you to like make a design that they already came up with? Or are you pushing your style, or are other people finding you and saying, okay, I want one of your paintings on my wall, do whatever you want?
Yeah, well, it depends on the customer, but regularly I'm that lucky enough. If someone is going to pay for a painting, they like what I do. So yeah, I have some people that tell me, okay, can you do this picture? And I do it. But regularly, yeah, they are looking for me because what I do, because of my women. But well, I also have other regular jobs that are painting for um, oh my God, my English, sorry. For any other places and they want their logo, or I also do that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, of course, I need to pay my bills as well. And
Hmm.
not all the time I'm selling my paintings, unfortunately. That's my target. That's my long-term target.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yes, I last week I was, for example, in Vienna painting a mural for for this place of they were selling houses and yeah, but well, it's a job and I'm painting. I prefer to do that than being in an office in front
Yeah.
of a computer, of course.
Yeah. How often are you doing collaborations?
Collaboration with other artists,
Hmm.
not very often.
Hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
like twice a year, I regularly make something. Well, with my husband, of course, he's also an artist, and we try to experiment together. We collaborate almost in every project that we have. But with other artists, it's not that easy because languages can be very similar or very different, so they don't match together.
Hmm. I
That's
understand.
yeah, but
Do you
yeah.
mean visual language or actual language?
Both, yeah,
Yeah.
mostly technical language for having a result. But I think, yeah, collaborating it's more like the trip of creating something together, not just the result. But I don't know.
Well, let's talk about let's start to wrap things up a little bit, but I want to do that by asking you, what is getting your goat? So there's a phrase for you. That's an English phrase that you may have not heard before, but that might actually be something that we just say in my part of the country. But we say when something is really annoying you, we say it's getting your goat.
Okay.
So what's getting your goat right now about what's going on in the world?
Oh, so many things.
You can only pick one.
Only one.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk. I don't know about the politics. I'm from Spain, and the politics the government is choosing right now is they are choosing money and economy instead of people.
Mm,
That annoys me a lot.
mm. Are you in like Catalonia part of Spain or
I'm from Basque Country.
okay, so you're from the other part.
Yes, so
Yeah,
we
okay.
already had our fights
Yeah.
20 years ago. Well, they
Yeah.
started actually 80 years ago, more or less. And no, not 20, 60 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's do you know a little bit about the story
I
of
know a little bit. Yeah, I went to Valencia and to Figueras and where else did we go? We went up the coast basically
okay, in
to
Catalonia, most
Barcelona. Yeah.
Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
no,
heard the stories,
the
but
story.
I don't know. I mean, but I don't, I don't really know much about like the details of the history, except that the Catalonia part is apparently like the richer part that tries to like holds the wealth maybe and kind of more
Yeah,
conservative.
I can tell you, I don't know. I'm from Basque Country, so that's what we say that we are the richest part, and that
Oh.
yes, that's what happened in the 60s in the Basque Country. You know that we had Franco, this dictator,
Hmm.
and well, he forbid a lot of things that you can't speak your language, you can't manifest, you can't have these ideas, blah blah blah. And in Basque Country, we are very very ancient culture. Even our language is so ancient that they don't know its origin. It's very different to Spanish or
Ah.
to French, or it's very very different.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in Basque Country, we are very strong attached to our literal part of Spain, and we had these problems with Franco, and there was this terroristic group called ETA
Mm-hmm.
that started. Their origins were very legitimate. They wanted to keep the privilege um, that they got, right, and they wanted to still keep talking Basque. They wanted to be um, I don't know, do not centralize all the richness in Madrid, but each province to have their own richness and all that. They were the rights and they were right, but then they started killing,
Mm.
and that was a problem until
Yeah.
2012. That
Wow.
it's a terrible story that we have there. I remember being a child, and because I was living in the same building as some offices, in governmental offices, I remember several times that, okay, Amanda, we need to go out of bed tonight a little bit earlier and go out because there is a bomb. And oh shit,
Whoa.
yes, yeah, that happened twice in my childhood. And I remember being with my teddy bear in the bar next in front, having my breakfast and asking my mom, "Mommy, can we go back home?" Like, no, not yet. Police needs to come and see if that bomb is going to explode or not. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. That's fortunately, I only have that stupid stories to tell, and also that I was having ice cream with some friends in the boulevard of San Sebastian, and suddenly all policemen came and shooting everyone because there were some people from Meta that were setting fires, and I have
And they
stupid
just opened fire.
um to some no, okay, open fire, sorry, but not with bullets, with they were these plastic
Pellets.
bullets.
Yeah, pellets. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, everyone was scaring, and
Yeah.
yeah, but the others, they were actually killing the others, so yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, that actually brings up what gets my goat, or what's kind of annoying me lately is, um, your story is perfect for that because, when I moved to Europe and I started meeting people who have been through situations like you just described, or have lived through communism, or have lived through some kind of atrocity like that. Um, those people are more genuine and more down to earth and more honest and more relaxed about life and are more grateful. And a lot of the people in the US, I think one of the issues with like the attitude of my countrymen, let's say, or the people, because I live in Prague now, but like I'm from the US. But the problem there, I think, is that there's been so much peace and things have been so good and so little conflict for so long, people start to get spoiled and they start to kind of like make their own problems. And it's like it it's it can be annoying. I mean, I'm not saying that it's good that people have to go through these horrible situations or whatever, but I'm saying that just like as a result of I think people being too sheltered kind of goes back to what we were talking about being comfortable in your studio. It's like if you're too sheltered for too long, then like you lose the perspective of like how good we have it, you know?
No, that's true.
Because for me, like there's things that I want to accomplish, of course, because I'm a human being and I'm an artist and everything, but like I just have so many things to be grateful for. I mean, just the fact that I have my health and I don't have any kind of health problems or anything like that, that's a huge one. And then I have family and friends, and I have my artistic ability, and I can create and make a living and a life from my creativity.
That's a privilege. We are
Yeah,
privileged people.
big time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So is there anything that you want to promote now before we go? Is there any, like, what are you working on now?
Right now it's just some private commissions that I have, and I'm working. I hope I can. There is some project on the air that I really hope it can work, and
Hmm.
I can't tell much just in case it doesn't work.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah. Right now, life is easy. Life is calm, painting, and I'm very very lucky to have these some collectors that want my paintings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah. And how do people find you on Instagram? Can you tell everyone?
Yes, you mean my Instagram address, right?
Hmm.
Yes, it's Mandioh, Mandioh.
Okay. And I'll put all of that in the show notes.
Thank you.
And for everyone who's watching, definitely check Amanda out on Instagram. And if you like the interview and you want to watch more, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell. And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do that in the show description. I'll put a link down there. Um, I'm glad that we were able to finally work through the technical difficulties and we decided to do it today because it was very nice to meet you and talk to you. And
Same
yeah,
here.
yeah, I look forward to working with you. Maybe someday we can collaborate when I start making murals.
Please, or no, just a painting. Let's do it. I need to start collaborating with other artists.
Yeah, yeah. Nice to meet you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Cheers.